Get ready for change to elevate your future, your thinking, your life. One relationship, one thought, one decision. You're closer than you think you are. Make a decision and decide. Prepare to be inspired. Hey, good morning. It is Coach Randy Byrd, and I'm excited to be here on the Like a Boss podcast. Today, I'm really excited to bring you some tactical parts of your business that are going to completely help. It's a leverage point. It's a leverage lever in your real estate business. And that is the most important thing you could leverage in your real estate business, in my opinion, beyond maybe your first hire being an assistant, is a TC, transaction coordinator. So with no further ado, let me bring in my guest today, Erica DePhillips. Erica, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Erica, I am blessed to have you in my organization here at EXP. You joined up with superstar Stephanie Peck, and like the giver that she is, she said, hey, you guys are welcome to use my TC with anybody in the organization, and really anybody for that matter that is looking to kind of up their game on the TC side of things, right? So what I'd like to do is maybe let's just jump in so you could explain to people a little bit about what you do. I'll include your contact information and stuff as we progress. But the highlight here is what you do, how it impacts and benefits agents. And I think it's really important information, maybe more than ever with the amount of forms and deadlines and all the things that have to happen, right? And your business is called Details and Deadlines, LLC, right? So first of all, why don't you give us that 30,000 elevation view, your background, how you got into this, and then we'll go into a little more granular. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, I started Details and Deadlines in May of 2020, so in the heat of COVID. And that year I processed, my first year of 2021, I processed about 500 files by myself.
Whoa, 500?
504 to be exact.
Wow.
And then the following year I did the same thing. So I decided to take my business to the next level and start with a small team and training them to do things exactly as I do them, plugging into our systems, so that we could continue to help more agents and grow and have a little bit more balanced life. So that's where we are. I've got now 2 transaction coordinators working for me, and we're just trying to grow and grow slowly and help as many agents as we can to level up their business.
That's amazing. I mean, when I ran my team, we were doing about 140 or 50 transactions a year and had a full-time TC that handled that. But to hear you say 504 and you did that pretty much alone is surprising. That's amazing. That just tells me that you have a lot of systems and a lot of structure in place, which is valuable. So what are the arguments about using a TC, I guess? What are the agent arguments that you come across, if any?
Some of the arguments are people not wanting to let go. The control thing. They feel like they need to have somebody, on their staff that's available to do whatever they need them to do. But at that point, it's more of you're looking for an assistant versus a transaction coordinator.
100%. And let me say something. As a coach for 10 years, I was a Tom Ferry coach and now been coaching for a decade. The number one mistake agents make in their real estate business is they confuse the assistant and the TC as one person. Mm-hmm. They try to save the money. In the beginning, it mathematically makes sense. Hey, I'm doing 10 files, paying $400 a file. That's $4,000. I can hire an assistant part-time for $8,000. They could market my listings and do my TC work. But that's a big mistake, in my opinion. You'd probably agree because this is your business, right?
Right.
So, but I'm telling you very clearly, that is a massive mistake that I find when I do needs assessments with coaching clients and they're looking to have me be their coach. That's one of the first mistakes I usually will uncover. So always separate those two. TC is the first hire, right? If you're doing 1 deal a year, you should have a TC. If you're doing 60 deals a year, you cannot do it without a TC, right? That's just my opinion. But I think agents use that. I think you nailed it. I think it's control. And I think they could do it better. Like they don't want you to mess it up because it's a big check, right? I get that. But I've always felt the other way. I think that by using a TC, I better my odds of getting that deal done, closed, and correct, because there's a lot of spinning plates in our real estate life, right? You have one focus and a list that you're following. And I think that's the best way to go, clearly.
Right.
I love it. So let's jump into the meat and potatoes. What does it cost to have you run a TC file? You're in Oregon and Washington, correct?
Right.
And
Oregon and Washington.
Is that the rumor I heard?
What's that?
And soon to be Arizona. Is that the rumor I heard?
Yep. We're getting there.
Awesome.
So we charge $400, $500, and $600 a file. $500 is listing to close. So we get your listing contract signed, get disclosures, start chasing down HOA docs, everything so that when we hit the market, we're ready to go. And then if it's contract to close on a buy side, that's $400, or contract to close if for some reason you want to handle your own listing paperwork. And if you dual rep, then and dual representation is $600, just because we have everything and it's you and it's
that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Some people double it. I don't like that, but I think adding a little bit to it's more than fair. And so walk me through what the list to close looks like for $500, because I think that's the greatest value. And then let's talk about the dirty deed. If it doesn't sell or it cancels or something, right? How's that handled? So first of all, what's the process on the list to close part that you would handle and take off the agent?
So if an agent gets a listing and it's literally send an email with the address, your listing commission, so that we can have that to fill out. Price, if you don't know yet, you're still running comps, we can put TBD and do a listing addendum once you get that figured out. We introduce ourselves to the client, get a trio ordered, and start prepping listing documents. We make sure everything gets signed and uploaded to SkySlope. We get the seller's disclosures out, make sure those come back, completely filled out. Make sure, everything's answered. Pretty much, it's sewer, there's no wood stove, kind of check over some things if there's an HOA, and get those signed and ready.
I love it. I love it when you take a drink of water on a live podcast and go down the windpipe. Nothing better. I tried to mute myself, but I'm still over here gagging.
That's all right.
So I'm a huge advocate for both TC and unlisting TC, because we want to get out and do dollar producing activities. And too many times agents relate this activity as important, but it's not dollar producing, right? It's actually support. And I do a training how we keep everything above the line with the agent, everything below the line with the agent being leveraged, right? Everything from inspections to TCs to lending and title and all the things. And so I think this plays really marvelously right into that. The agent should be spending more time prospecting, and the time that you free up for $400, $500, $600, our average prospecting time allotment to value is well over $1,000 an hour, right? There's an argument that it's $5,000 an hour and beyond. So that's why we really want to be able to leverage the things in our business. So what happens if somebody does a listing and then it's on the market for 2 weeks and the seller gets squarely cancels? What's the cost of that cancellation?
$85.
Okay, that's reasonable. $85, because there's involvement and work that you've put into it. So it's $85 risk by having you do everything start to finish. Right. I like that, because sometimes, especially in these markets where the houses are not moving as much, or they're not maybe the perfect home where it's going to move quickly, agents concerned about that. Do you handle land, any of the other kind of things as well?
Yes, we've done land. We've done manufactured homes and parks. We're kind of starting to dip our toes into commercial, because we've got a couple of commercial agents right now that just have one or two going. So learning that, and yeah.
I love it. So what is something that may be valuable that you can provide to the listeners that maybe sets you apart from some of the other people, competitors or otherwise, whatever it may be? Maybe they're doing it themselves. I hear a lot of agents go, "Oh, my office handles that for me." And I'm like, well, that relationship's a little different than hiring somebody to handle your file, because they have a compliance requirement to you. So their file coordination is typically around compliance of you doing things correctly, not making sure timelines and all things are met, and you actually have a partner in this, right? That's my opinion.
Right. That's my biggest thing that I promote when I talk to new people. My business is fully built on relationships. I am a huge relationship person. I want you to feel like we're part of your team. We've got agents that have us. Stephanie Peck's one of them on their CMAs, on their seller presentations, buyer presentations. Use us as part of your team. And, we want to make you look good.
That's a great point. So back up a little bit. So Stephanie Peck's one of our leaders in the organization. Where's she at city-wise? She's in Oregon City, or?
She does a lot in Oregon City, Beaver Creek.
100 transactions a year, something like that. She has a very successful team. But think about that. When you're doing your listing presentations and buyer representation booklets, Erica becomes part of your team, part of your success formula. And you could promote that accordingly, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's such a big thing. Yeah. And so, on the buyer side, obviously, it's pretty straightforward. I want to give them a little coaching tip, a nugget that you may or may not know. And I don't know if you've seen this, but you can surely tell your clients about this. As a number, we were the number one listing agent in Redding, California, doing about, I think went to 90 listing appointments in 1 year, took 88. So very high ratio, Remaxes at the time. So we're taking about 88 listings a year. And my mentor goes, hey, I want you to write in other terms, the seller to pay for a fee for pre-marketing or transaction coordination type work, right? So we entered this little thing. It started at $295, went to $495. And all it said was $495 due only upon a successful close of escrow for transaction coordination, pre-listing confirmations and documents, pre-listing work, title and escrow searches, all things, right? It's all included in this $495 fee, due only upon close of escrow, but it's a seller fee and it's in other terms. So we'd take a listing at 6%, and then we'd have a $495 seller term, other terms in there that they agreed to 87 out of 88 times. Literally, I had one guy that bought me on it 1 year. But imagine 88 listings times $495. That's $35,000 a year that you've added to the cost of you leveraging all this out at a high level team, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're catching any of that on listing agreements or not.
Not specifically transaction coordinating. We've got some, if the listing cancels, for the agent to be reimbursed marketing, home preparation expenses. And I think we're just kind of lumped into there.
Yeah, I don't like those personally. That's my thing. Like if we cancel, it's on me. It's a business opportunity and I get it. Now, if we have special marketing and things, that's different. We've had $5 million properties. They want us to market to the Oakland Raiders and the Niners, right? And so they pay for that separately. We'd have a separate agreement. But if you're not doing this, think about doing this, listing agents. Just in your listing, put down $295 to $495, and it's a transaction fee that is needed to be done on this transaction. And I just tell them, this is a pass-through fee, right? We're paying this to somebody to handle these things. And you can get that $400, $500, $600 fee paid like that, in my opinion, right? So it's a win-win. I love it. So I've got the number at the bottom of the screen, how they can get a hold of you. Are you taking new clients now?
We are.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to promote it to my organization. We have about 1,100 agents, 100 in Oregon, 100 in Washington. We'll promote to them specifically. But also, are you taking agents outside of EXP?
Absolutely. Yep. We work with agents all over.
Okay, awesome. So I will, your number's on the screen, your website's on the screen, detailsanddeadlines.com spelled out, detailsanddeadlines.com if you're listening on the podcast. Eric DePhillips, I appreciate you being here today. Any last words? Anything you want to talk to us about?
Nope, not at all. Just
I appreciate you. You've got a great team. And again, you came highly recommended from one of my top agents, Stephanie Peck, and she runs a first-class team right here in Oregon. And so that endorsement, is the reason you're here. Your endorsement from her is my endorsement to my people. All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being here so much. Really means a lot to us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Erica, thank you much. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
You
And thank you
too.
for being there. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.